What if I told you there's a nickel sitting in someone's junk drawer right now, collecting dust, that could be worth over $777,000? And even crazier, some experts claim this coin might someday break the $1 million mark. No, this isn't some far-fetched myth or clickbait story. It's a real coin. Minted in the United States. In 1988. With a simple D mark. A Thomas Jefferson nickel. You might even have one in your house right now. Still think spare change is just spare change. In today's video, we're diving deep into the mysterious and surprisingly valuable 1988 D Jefferson nickel. We'll explore why this particular coin has become one of the most sought-after modern collectibles in American numismatic history, and how everyday people, just like you, have stumbled upon small fortunes without ever leaving their homes. Let's start with a little story. Back in the early 2000s, a retired electrician from Colorado was sifting through a coffee can of old coins he'd been tossing his change into for decades. Something told him to take a closer look at a few of them. He noticed a strange 1988 nickel. Nothing special at first glance, worn edges, faint details, but something about the D mint mark caught his eye. Long story short, after a few phone calls and a visit to a reputable coin dealer, he walked away with a check that changed his life, that same exact coin. Recently estimated at $777,000 on the private auction circuit. So what makes this Jefferson nickel so insanely valuable? It all comes down to a rare minting error, something collectors go absolutely wild for. You see, in 1988, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of nickels. But a small number were struck using a leftover reverse die from an earlier production year. That might sound technical, but here's why it matters. That old reverse die was never meant to be used with 1988 obverse dies. The result? A rare variety that shouldn't even exist. Most people can't spot the difference, but seasoned collectors know exactly what to look for. The key is in the design details, specifically, the steps on Monticello on the reverse of the coin. Earlier dies show 6 full steps. The 1988 D error shows a confusing blend, less defined, slightly blurred, an unmistakable mismatch. If you've got sharp eyes, or a good magnifier, you just might strike gold. Now here's where it gets interesting. This isn't just about one freak coin. It's about opportunity. There are believed to be dozens, possibly hundreds more of these rare 1988 D nickels still floating out there. In pocket change. In sock drawers. In old piggy banks from when your kids were still in diapers. Imagine picking up a nickel off your car floor mat and realizing you're holding a 6-figure payday. Sounds far-fetched? Tell that to the guy in Wisconsin who sold his for $42,000 in 2019, and it wasn't even in mint condition. Coins in higher grades, especially those graded MS-65 or above, are commanding prices that make Wall Street traders do a double take. Now, here's the emotional twist. While some people are discovering these hidden treasures, others are unknowingly spending them. That's right, these rare coins get passed around in everyday transactions. You might have handed one over to a cashier last week at the gas station, for a pack of gum. That's the fear, and the urgency. What if you're sitting on something rare, and you don't even know it? But here's the good news. You don't need to be a coin expert or a historian to cash in. You just need curiosity, a little knowledge, and about 15 spare minutes with your coin stash. And before we go further, let me ask, when was the last time you checked your spare change? Exactly. Now, what should you look for? First, grab any 1988 nickels you can find. Flip them over and look for the D mint mark, indicating they were minted in Denver. Then, look closely at the Monticello steps. Compare them with online references, or better yet, consult a local coin dealer. If the steps look worn or mismatched in a peculiar way, especially if you see signs of an older die impression, you could be looking at a jackpot. And don't clean the coin. Seriously, don't. Even if it looks like it spent time in a sewer, collectors prefer coins in their raw, unaltered condition. Cleaning it could actually lower its value. Another pro tip, get it professionally graded. Organizations like PCGS or NGC can authenticate and rate your coin's quality, unlocking its true market value. A well-preserved 1988 D with the right error features. That's your fast track to a major payday, and possibly a life-changing one. Now, let's zoom out for a moment. Why does this even matter? Because for so many of us, especially in our 40s, 50s, and 60s, we're looking for real, tangible ways to build wealth. We're tired of empty promises and get-rich-quick schemes. This is different. This is about using what you already have, your forgotten coins, to unlock unexpected financial opportunities. And hey, what's more American than turning spare change into a better future? You might be thinking, sure, sounds great, but what are the odds? Well, let me tell you, the odds are a lot better than buying a lottery ticket. And unlike a ticket that expires, your coins are sitting there, waiting patiently for you to discover their value. Some of them might be worth hundreds, some thousands, and, if you're very lucky, maybe even close to $1 million. Here's the kicker, the 1988 D nickel isn't the only one. It's just one shining example in a sea of rare coins hiding in plain sight. If this surprises you, just wait until you learn about the 1944 steel wheat penny, or the 1970 small date Lincoln cent. But we'll save those for another day. Before we wrap up, let me leave you with this final thought: wealth doesn't always come from hustle. Sometimes, it comes from paying attention to the little things. Like a 5-cent piece that most people overlook. So tonight, when you get home, pull out that old coffee can. Open that childhood coin jar. Check under the couch cushions. And whatever you do, don't ignore the nickels, because the next one you find could be the one that changes your life. And in our next video, we're diving into the coin that's even rarer than the 1988 D nickel, with only 2 known examples in existence. But be warned, it might make you rethink every coin you've ever handed away. Don't miss it. Did you know that a single coin sitting in your junk drawer could be your ticket to a 6-figure payday, or even more? Imagine reaching into an old jar of loose change and pulling out a nickel, not just any nickel, but a 1989 D Jefferson nickel, one that recently sold for a jaw-dropping $774,000. And here's the kicker, it could have easily ended up in someone's tip jar or vending machine. Let that sink in. Most people overlook nickels. They think, it's just 5 cents. But sometimes, 5 cents is all it takes to change your life. Because hidden in plain sight, among the most ordinary coins, are rare treasures worth more than some houses. And if you've got a few old coins lying around, today's video might just be the most profitable 10 minutes of your life. Now, let's rewind to 1989, a year that, for most people, doesn't scream numismatic goldmine. The Cold War was ending, the Berlin Wall was coming down, and somewhere in Denver, the U.S. Mint was striking millions of Jefferson nickels, just like it had done for decades. But buried within those millions, something unexpected happened. A tiny anomaly. A minting error so subtle, yet so rare, that collectors today are willing to pay hundreds of thousands, even upwards of $774,000, for one in pristine condition. So, what makes this coin so valuable? It's not just age, though age helps. It's not just scarcity, though it's scarce. It's a perfect storm, a coin with a very specific D mint mark, a potential double die error, and, most crucially, top-tier grading. The value skyrockets when these nickels are certified in mint state condition, MS67 or higher. Most nickels from 1989. They're worn, scratched, tossed from pocket to pocket. But a flawless one. That's gold in disguise. Picture this, you go to cash in some spare change, and instead of dumping it all into a Coinstar, you take 5 minutes to sort through them. And there it is. The 1989 D Jefferson nickel. Sharp details. No visible wear. You squint, is that a slight doubling in the lettering? Your heart races. Could this be it? Could this be your $774,000 moment? Before you race off to dig through your change jar, let's talk about what to actually look for. Because if you don't know the signs, you could toss away a fortune by mistake. The first giveaway is the mint mark, D, for Denver. Located to the right of Jefferson's ponytail, this tiny letter holds massive weight. But the real treasure lies in errors. Some 1989 D nickels show doubling In God We Trust, or the Monticello building on the reverse side. These doubled dies are freak accidents, rare and valuable. Combine that with uncirculated condition. That's when we're talking serious money. Now, you might be thinking, come on, what are the odds? Fair question. But here's the truth, rare coins are found all the time by people who never expected it. They weren't collectors. They weren't experts. They were people like you, clearing out drawers, inheriting a coin collection, or simply curious. The only difference? They looked a little closer. And for that, they were rewarded, still skeptical. Just look at the numbers. In 2023, one MS-67 1989 D. Jefferson nickel sold at auction for $774,000. Why? Because collectors fight for perfection. Flawless coins are like fine art. The difference between a $5 coin and a $500,000 coin often comes down to a few microscopic details. It's no exaggeration. One scratch can wipe away your jackpot. Which is why grading is everything. So how do you know if your coin is the real deal? First, avoid cleaning it. Seriously, never clean your coins. That shiny, clean look. It kills the value. Instead, handle it carefully by the edges, and if it looks promising, send it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. Yes, there's a small fee, but if your coin comes back with a high grade, that tiny investment could turn into life-changing cash, and let's be honest, who wouldn't want an extra $100,000 or $700,000 sitting in their sock drawer? You're not just selling a coin. You're selling history, rarity, and beauty, all wrapped in a 5-cent piece, but here's where it gets urgent. The coin market is heating up. Baby boomers are cashing in their collections. Prices are volatile. And as more people flood the market trying to sell, the opportunities to cash in at peak value may start shrinking. If you're sitting on a potential goldmine, now is the time to act. Wait too long, and the market could cool, or worse, someone else finds the $1 million coin before you do. Now, let's talk strategy. What if you don't have a 1989 D. Jefferson nickel yet? There's still hope. Visit local coin shops, antique malls, estate sales, even yard sales. Most sellers overlook nickels completely. That's your edge. Train your eye. Learn what to look for. And when you find that gem, grab it fast. Because once it's gone, it's gone. Think of coin collecting not just as a hobby, but as a treasure hunt with real stakes. This isn't about dusty albums or old men in basements with magnifying glasses. This is about building wealth. About unlocking hidden value. About discovering that one coin that flips your entire financial picture, and don't worry if you're just starting out. Every expert was once a beginner. The key is action. Curiosity. Taking the time to learn and look. Because the next life-changing coin discovery, it won't be on some auction floor in New York. It might be right there, in your hand. Coming up next, we're going to show you exactly what an MS-67 1989 D. Jefferson nickel looks like, how to spot double dies with just your phone camera, and why one small detail could be the difference between average and extraordinary. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Because if you thought $774,000 was impressive, you haven't seen anything yet. Yes, I'm talking about a nickel. Specifically, the 1996 Jefferson nickel with a tiny P mint mark. It's a coin most people wouldn't think twice about. You've probably held one, maybe dozens, over the years without realizing the potential fortune slipping through your fingers. But here's the twist, some versions of this nickel have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and one recently reached an astonishing value of $770,000. Still think change is just for parking meters? Before we dive into the details of how this seemingly ordinary coin can change your life, let me ask you, when was the last time you checked your coin jar? You might want to pause this video and take a look. But maybe wait until the end, because by then, you'll know exactly what to look for, and more importantly, what could make you rich? The story of this nickel begins in 1996 at the Philadelphia Mint, hence the small p just above Monticello on the reverse side. Nearly 829 million of these coins were minted. That number might make you think they're common, and in general, they are. But within that ocean of nickels, there are rare variants, hidden gems with minting errors, striking anomalies, or simply pristine conditions that make collectors go wild. And when collectors go wild, prices skyrocket. Let's zoom in on one case, a Jefferson nickel from 1996 graded MS68 full steps, essentially perfect condition. This coin sold for a jaw-dropping $770,000. Why? Because of a combination of rarity, condition, and fierce collector demand. Coins with full steps mean the steps on Monticello are sharply struck and fully visible, a detail most nickels lose due to weak striking. That level of detail. It's like finding a diamond without a scratch. So how do you know if your nickel is one of the lucky ones? Start by checking the mint mark. You're looking for a P just to the right of Jefferson's ponytail, under, "In God We Trust." That marks it as a Philadelphia Mint coin. Next, flip it over. Under a magnifying glass, examine Monticello, those stairs on the building. They should have 5 to 6 fully defined steps. Most nickels don't make the cut. But if yours does, let's just say you'll want to get it professionally graded immediately. Now, let's talk about grading. This is where things get serious. Coin grading agencies like PCGS or NGC evaluate coins on a 1 to 70 scale. Anything above MS65 is considered superb. MS68 or higher. That's elite territory. That's Wall Street level rarity. And if you're sitting on one that pristine, it could be your ticket to a new car, a new house, or even early retirement. But don't go cashing in just yet. Many sellers rush to auction with coins that haven't been verified. That's a rookie mistake. If your coin isn't authenticated and professionally graded, it's like trying to sell a Picasso at a garage sale. You need certification. And here's where urgency kicks in. As more people discover the value of these coins, the market is heating up. Collectors are paying premiums for high-grade pieces, right now. But markets move. Trends shift. So if you're sitting on potential treasure, time is of the essence. Imagine being one of those people who laughed at Bitcoin in 2012. Don't let history repeat itself with a nickel. Still with me? Good. Let's get into the wild part. Errors. Some 1996 P nickels were struck on planchets meant for foreign coins, or double struck by accident. These freaks of the minting process are worth even more. Some errors have netted 6 figures. One collector found a 1996 P struck on a dime planchet, worth tens of thousands. That coin was smaller, lighter, and silver-toned. It looked like a factory mistake, and it was. But to the right buyer? That mistake was gold, and here's the kicker, these coins weren't pulled from secret vaults. They came from pocket change. Estate sales. Grandpa's old coin stash. Places you walk past every day. Places you've already been. So the question isn't whether these coins are out there. The question is, are you looking closely enough? And here's a final twist to keep you on your toes. Some experts believe there are still high-grade 1996 P Jefferson nickels hidden in bank rolls. Unsearched rolls from banks or coin shops, sealed and untouched since the 90s, could hold coins worth hundreds of thousands. It's like buying a lottery ticket where the odds are actually in your favor. If you know what you're doing. Now, I can hear the doubt creeping in. Can I really make life-changing money with a 5-cent coin? Well, consider this, people are doing it. Right now. Across the country. Every month, auctions are listing Jefferson nickels for tens of thousands of dollars. And every one of those coins started in someone's hand as just spare change. So maybe, just maybe, it's time to stop ignoring your change jar. Because while you're letting it gather dust, someone else is cashing in. Still think it's just a nickel? Stick around. In our next video, we'll reveal the most shocking coin finds of this decade, including a penny that sold for $1.7 million and a dime that turned a retiree into a millionaire overnight. You won't want to miss it, but first, go check your coins. One of them might just be your future. Just 5 cents, that could be worth nearly $750,000. One coin, one forgotten piece of change, minted in 1998 with a tiny D mark under Thomas Jefferson's profile, is sending shockwaves through the rare coin market. And here's the kicker, this isn't some unreachable treasure hidden in a museum or vault. It could be sitting unnoticed in your home, right now. Imagine this, you're cleaning out your junk drawer, that black hole of rubber bands, batteries, and mystery keys. Your fingers brush over a dull, old nickel. Nothing special, right? But what if I told you that this coin could change your life? That one 1998 D. Jefferson nickel has already sold for an astonishing $764,000, and experts say it's only gaining in value. Yes, really. And the reason why might just blow your mind. Let's back up a little. You see, the 1998 D nickel isn't just a fluke. It's part of a growing trend where everyday Americans are uncovering rare coins worth life-changing sums. This coin in particular has something that collectors crave, an ultra-rare die variety, near-perfect mint condition, and a hidden story from the Denver Mint that's kept even seasoned numismatists guessing for years, and that's what makes this story so thrilling. We're not just talking about a nickel, we're talking about a legacy that could be sitting in a coin jar, a shoebox, or tucked away in a childhood collection. And the stakes? They're high. Because every month that goes by, these coins become harder to find, and their value ticks upward. The window of opportunity. Closing. So why is this particular 1998 D nickel so valuable? The answer lies in a combination of rarity, condition, and an almost mythic production anomaly. While millions of these coins were minted, only a tiny fraction left the facility with a perfect strike and a subtle, almost imperceptible doubling on Jefferson's eye, a detail that collectors drool over. Most people wouldn't even notice it. But the collectors who do, they're willing to pay big, and when I say big, I mean home down payment big. New life big. This isn't just pocket change anymore. It's a potential wealth generator, and that's why collectors, dealers, and even auction houses are watching every eBay listing, every estate sale, and every local coin show like hawks. But here's where it gets even more interesting. The $764,000 nickel. It didn't come from a collector's showcase. It came from an estate sale box bought for less than $10. One lucky bidder, one forgotten item, one massive payday, and yes, these stories are rare, but not as rare as you think. Because America is waking up to the hidden value of its loose change. People are going through their drawers, wallets, and even their cars, finding nickels, pennies, and quarters worth thousands, sometimes millions. And the people who take the time to look, they're winning. The ones who shrug it off, they're leaving money on the table. Possibly life-altering money, still skeptical. That's understandable. Most of us were raised to think that nickels are just, well, nickels. Not investments. But the rare coin market has exploded in the last 5 years. With inflation, market instability, and a growing appetite for tangible assets, collectors are turning to U.S. coins with a hunger we haven't seen in decades. And the 1998 D. Jefferson nickel? It's at the epicenter. If you're thinking, well, I don't have anything special, think again. Over 60% of rare coin discoveries in the past decade were made by non-collectors, everyday people like you. And most of them had no idea what they were holding until someone told them, or until they cashed in. Let's not forget the emotional weight of this either. You're not just uncovering metal. You're uncovering a story. A history. A chance to finally take that trip, retire early, or help your kids with college. That's not just exciting, it's empowering. That's what makes coin collecting today more than a hobby. It's a door. A door to freedom. Now, before you run to dump out your coin jars, here's what you need to look for: a 1998 Jefferson nickel with a small d under the date. If it's in uncirculated condition, meaning it looks sharp, shiny, and free from wear, set it aside. Look closely at Jefferson's eye. Some rare varieties show slight doubling, a sign of a mint error that can skyrocket its value. And if you're not sure, that's okay. You don't need to be an expert. You just need curiosity and the will to act. Professional coin grading services like PCGS and NGC can authenticate and grade your coin, often turning an ordinary-looking nickel into a six-figure asset. But remember, timing is everything. With more people entering the rare coin market, prices are volatile. That $764,000 sale. It happened because the seller struck while the iron was hot, and here's where urgency comes in: coin values are not guaranteed forever. Trends shift, markets cool. What's worth hundreds of thousands today could dip if a flood of new discoveries comes in tomorrow. Don't wait. Don't assume. Check. Of course, we can't end without a little humor, because let's be honest, isn't it hilarious that we've spent years ignoring nickels while they quietly turned into treasure? But before you go and start tossing coins across the table like a prospector, let me leave you with this: what if your future isn't waiting in a promotion, an investment portfolio, or a lottery ticket, but right there in your loose change? What if wealth has been whispering to you all along, in the jingle of your pocket? The 1998 D. Jefferson nickel has already changed lives. It could change yours too. In our next video, we'll reveal 3 other coins currently hiding in circulation that are worth over $1 million, and how one man found his in the glove box of a 1997 Toyota Corolla. Trust me, you won't want to miss that. Stay curious. Stay aware. And start checking your change, because wealth, it turns out, may be a lot closer than you think.